ASMR Nation. I'm filming in my living room. I had to get up at 3 a.m. to do this. I had to pull the light in. I had to do some things. I had to get it ready, but I think we're good. I just wanted to film in front of my little spooky fireplace because the topic is spooky podcast recommendations. And I've got some cinnamon gum. I've got my Barefoot Dreams blankie. So I'm very cozy. A little tired, but very cozy. So let me pop some gum in my mouth. And we will just go to some links that I posted. And I will source them vocally. So if you want to write down the source, you can write it down. Grab a pen and paper. Otherwise, you can just listen. But before we do that, we have to do some light housekeeping. We have to take care of the channel. The channel needs hygiene. So, if you are new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back, OGs. If you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe. If you're old here, go double check. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like if you like. Leave a comment. It can be anything related to the video. It could just be a hello. I just gleeked. It happens a lot when you're talking with gum in your mouth. Hit the notification bell, and as always, I will link my tip jars down there in the description. No pressure whatsoever. But every $1, $2, $5, everything helps. That's what allows me to continue to make content. All right, where are we at here? We are at crackercrumblife.com. crackercrumblife.com. And this article is from October 6th, 2021 by Erin at Cracker Crumb Life. The title of the article: Spooky, Creepy, Dark and Twisty, My October Podcast Playlist. And look. Oh, I'm so in love with autumn and all things spooky and cozy. I'm geeked. Absolutely geeked for the next 2 seasons. So I'm going to skip down to her first recommendation, which is the Haunted Coffee Pot. I know there's a glare, but you can see it a little. The Haunted Coffee Pot. She says, I love this one for its versatility. These hosts are my kind of people. True crime and ghosts. Yes, please. Coffee too. It can't get any better. I love that I can pick and choose which path to go down for whatever mood I'm in, all in one podcast. There are so many to pick from, too. True crime and hauntings and just weird tales. They're all there, plus yummy sounding coffee and drinks. If you're a coffee lover like me, if you pop over to their website, they also include recipes for those drinks. Oh, I just need a personal barista to make them for me. Her favorite episode, The Mothman of Point Pleasant. I'm going to screenshot that one. Oh, I missed one at the top. Camp Monsters. I think I've listened to a Camp Monsters before. Camp Monsters. I know. There, you can kind of see it. Camp Monsters. Since attending Frankenfest a few weeks ago. What's Frankenfest? I have been seeking out stories of cryptids and monsters. I had no idea there were so many. In this podcast, Weston Davis is the writer and the host, and his voice is so soothing. See, these are like little, almost ASMRs. Like you could listen to him read a phone book. Just has a way of storytelling that is lost almost in this day and age in this format. Like stories being told around the campfire emphasize these storytelling skills. There is atmosphere to this podcast, y'all. The crackling of a fire, little noises, and sounds that fit the story and the mood. I can't speak highly enough of this pod. Her favorite episode, The Jersey Devil. Screenshot. Because I had to switch podcast apps because the one I used to use, Stitcher, dissolved. So now I have to restart finding all my podcasts again. Women in crime. 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 I just recently started listening to this one as well. I like how these hosts and criminologists have a goal and a mission, and it's not just about being sensationalist about these tragedies. From their website, as criminologists, I gotta take my slippers off. As criminologists, we study females who have been victims of crime, those who have committed crimes, and those involved in the criminal justice system through their work. In this podcast, we tell the stories of these women, but we also look at the causes of female crime and victimization. We cover the cases in which women have been wrongfully convicted and exonerated, and we will use a criminologist lens to look at how women are treated in the criminal justice system. Some of these women you may have heard of, but we promise to also bring you cases of women whose names will be new to you. Regardless of the types of cases, we cover a new story involving women in crime each episode. I'm reluctant to say a fave episode because of the nature of the story, but I thought they did a very good job at covering Ellen Ray Greenberg case. The Ellen Ray Greenberg case. I have not heard of that case. I'm just going to stop screenshotting and write these all down after because I want them all. All right. So then there is Parcast. Oh, see, there's no glare over here. Parcast. Supernatural with Ashley Flowers. Ashley Flowers. True Crime Junkies, right? Is she from True Crime Junkies? I believe so. Aha. Says I discovered Ashley Flowers from a different podcast that she hosts, Crime Junkie. And I just like her style. This is another podcast that covers a range of topics that some can't be explained logically or just have a twist of supernatural. Sometimes I can't do supernatural podcast or like supernatural anything. Sometimes I can. We'll see. It's not going to be at the top of my list. Her favorite episode of that show or that podcast is The New England Vampire Girl. Then we have Haunted, American History, with Christopher Feinstein. This podcast is relatively new, and the host, Christopher Feinstein, has a full-time job outside of the podcast, so there are not very many episodes yet. Feinstein also likes to keep the quality high, so instead of rushing his process, he takes his time, and it shows. I have enjoyed all the episodes I've listened to. Also, the intro music is perfect. I only wish the show summary actually gave a synopsis of what the episode was actually going to be about. Favorite episode? Robert and Friends. Oh, okay, here's one I've definitely listened to. True Crime Garage. True Crime Garage. Or as my toddler says, Gouage. This podcast is already well known, especially among people who listen to true crime. However, I just recently started listening to it. I think the guys do a fantastic job of covering the cases and delivering the facts. Again, not a favorite episode, but the one I think they did a tremendous job of covering is the Danielle Stislicki case. Danielle Stislicki is a case local to my area and a fairly recent one. I vividly recall when she went missing and how hard her parents worked to bring attention to her case. Her family is sadly still waiting for answers. So, let's just click on this. She says she has last year's list too, and I haven't. Okay, let's just stick with her. I have some more links that I'm going to share, but I'll probably make this into several parts. We'll see how it does, you know? So this would be her like 2020 list, I guess, which all these podcasts should still be up. The closer it gets to Halloween, the more ghost stories I need in my life. The weather has been gray and gloomy, inspiring me to snuggle up with a cup of tea when I get the opportunity and listen to a chilling tale. I started listening to true crime after a long hiatus from it, and this month added in spooky stories about haunted places. So, haunted places. Haunted places is my favorite. I listen to this pretty much every day while Wyatt is sleeping. Greg Polson has a wonderfully pleasant voice to listen to, even when his stories are not. I love that this podcast is a blend of storytelling followed up with history. You get a nice mix. I also enjoy the urban legends included in one. I love urban legends. That's supernatural. I like cryptids and urban legends. Sometimes the ghosts are what lose me. Ghost stories are what lose me sometimes. My favorite episodes so far, The Pine Barrens and The Jersey Devil. I might have done a video about cryptids from each state. If I didn't, I need to, and I should probably just do it again because it's pretty cool to see what state, what's the cryptid in your state. Let me know. We have The Grave Talks. I just started listening to this one and I love it. The Grave Talks is a different format of haunted places. It's all interview style. I've only listened to a few so far, but I'm hooked. But be prepared. Every episode has 2 parts. And to hear the second part, you got to be a patron. Oh man. If you're interested though, I mean, that's pretty fun. You get, you listen to a regular and then you got to hear the rest on Patreon. I've been curious enough to consider it. My favorite episode so far is Eloise, which is about the asylum that used to be here in my county, about 20 miles away from where I live, and that generations of teenagers have illegally explored in their youth at one time or another. I know for a fact that my brother and his friends stumbled into the potter's field one night. Updated to add, my curiosity got the better of me and I signed up as a Gravekeeper patron so I could listen to part 2 of the episodes. It's well worth the $5. Lore. I've heard of Lore. I don't know if I've listened to Lore. Definitely heard of it. Lore is an old favorite of mine. I've been listening for years. Lore is a non-fiction spooky podcast that takes a look at the darker side of history. And Mankey always does a great job of covering the story. It's also a TV series on Amazon. Favorite episode? Black Stockings. And we have the Dark Histories podcast. Oh, okay. Never mind. Now we have no area. There it is. And since we're talking about dark histories, we might as well talk about Dark Histories podcast, another podcast new to my lineup this month. I'm enjoying podcaster Ben's renditions of some of humanity's darkest moments and strange happenings. Favorite episodes so far? I haven't listened to enough yet to choose. So that's the Dark Histories podcast. Unsolved Murders. True crime stories. And now we start to veer more into the true crime tales. Unsolved Murders is exactly what it sounds like. It's performed by an ensemble cast, which is kind of neat, considering the horrible tales they are telling. My favorite episode? Edgar Allan Poe, A Rigged Murder about the mysterious death of Poe. Their theory about rabies is very compelling. How come I don't know more about the mysterious death of Poe? I feel like I should know more about that. I guess I better listen. And then Red-Handed. Red-Handed is my favorite true crime pod right now. I love Hannah and Saruthi's respectful handling of each case. And they have just the right amount of banter. I'm even a patron of their Patreon, and they have begun adding in ghost stories in their special Red Haunted episode. My favorite episode, Glen Sheen. I'm imagining by next month the creepy tales will have run their course with me, but they are perfect for this time of year. If this is something that you are interested in, I know it's not for everyone's cup of tea, and it's not always mine either, but some days I need a side of spooky with my cup of tea. With that being said, Wyatt is off to nap. I'm about to have that tea and a scary story for the morning. You know, I kind of get jealous of bloggers because they can blog anywhere, any place. Like, it doesn't, background noise doesn't affect them. Like, she's clearly blogging while her little Wyatt is running around because she said she's about to put him down. I don't know if jealous is the right word. I'm not like, oh, I hate people like that. No. Or they shouldn't have that. I'm just like, whoa, that's pretty cool that they can kind of work when their family's awake. As I sit here at 3 a.m. because I have to get up in the middle of the night to film, or like the butt crack of dawn. So that is her. That was from October 20th of 2020. And again, that is by Erin at Cracker Crumb Life. So if you are getting into all things, are you doing all things spooky? Are you a spooky Halloween person, or are you like a cozy Halloween person? I'm both. I already have a list that I'm going to do next of cozy fall, autumn podcast recommendations. And I carry both of these things through. So I carry spooky, I love spooky winter stuff too. Spooky Christmas, spooky winter. And I love cozy, obviously, autumn and definitely winter. So I carry both of those themes all the way through. That's just me. I do what I do, you do what you do. I just hope that everybody is all set to enjoy autumn and winter. So I plan on doing a bunch of little recommendations, whether you're a cozy or you're a spooky. Anyways, if you are still there and you watched this all the way to the end, I hope that you have a good rest of your day, rest of your evening, and or a good night's sleep, and I will see y'all real soon.